Hello students, welcome to a new lecture of P-block elements. In the last video, we were discussing about the general properties of all 16th group elements, its oxidation states, ionization energy, electronic configuration, atomic radius, electronegativity, all the general properties we have seen. Now we will look into its chemical properties. Of which group I am talking about? 16th group. Which element comes under 16th group? Oxygen, sulfur, cellurium, tellurium and polonium, right? Now, with hydrogens, those elements combines to give what? Hydrides. With halogen, they combine to give halides. And with oxygen, all of them, though oxygen is a part of that group, but I am talking about all the elements, therefore all the element combines with oxygen to give what? Oxides. When they react with hydrogen, what is the general formula of hydride? H2E. This type of hydride 16th group element makes. What is E here? E can be oxygen, sulfur, cellurium, tellurium, polonium. Let me write H2O, H2S, H2SC, H2TE and H2PO. Right? These are the hydrides of all the group elements. Now, what? Oxygen is more electronegative compared to all others, right? The others are less electronegative than oxygen. Therefore, if you compare the strength of this bond in all the element, the strength of OH bond is very strong and bond enthalpy to break this bond is high. Means the bond cannot be broken easily, it needs high energy. So, if you want to measure its reducing ability or its acidic ability, acidic ability means who can donate protons are called as acid. If you want to measure the acidic strength of these, water is least acidic and the acidic nature increases. Acidic nature increases from top to bottom in the hydrides. Why? Because acidic nature means it should donate its H plus to others. If you want it to donate its H plus, you have to first break this bond. But this bond is very strong. It needs more energy. This bond is weak. Easily it can be broken. Weaker, weaker, weaker. Therefore, acidic strength increases and even reducing capacity also increases from top to bottom in hydrides. That was about hydrides. Because of that electronegative nature of oxygen only, it can form hydrogen bonding with other elements. Hydrogen bonding of oxygen we have already seen, right? But sulfur, even though it is coming from the same group, will not show hydrogen bonding with others. Only oxygen can show hydrogen bonding with others. You can understand the difference between H2O and H2S. In the exam, you may get a 2 marks question in which they ask, explain why water shows hydrogen bonding but not H2S. Why? Because in water, the central element is oxygen, which is highly electronegative. Therefore, it can show hydrogen bonding with other molecules. Whereas hydrogen sulfide has which element in the center? Sulfur is the central element. It's less electronegative. Therefore, it cannot show any hydrogen bonding with other molecules. That answer you have to write. Coming to the next chemical property, which is reactivity or property with halogens. If all those elements combines with halogens, they will form halide. Which type of halide they form? They can form different type of halides. They can form hexahalides or tetrahalides or what else? Dihalides. Right? They can form dihalides also. When it comes to tetrahalides, whenever I say halide, it can be fluoride, bromide, chloride, iodide, right? So 16th group elements, suppose if I take oxygen fluoride, oxygen chloride, oxygen bromide, oxygen iodide, right? Same way sulfur chloride, sulfur bromide, sulfur fluoride, sulfur iodide. Same way selenium chloride, selenium bromide, selenium iodide and fluoride. All of them can combine with all the halides, right? But all the halogens cannot react with these elements. Which can react very strongly? Fluoride will definitely react with everyone. Fluoride will definitely react with everyone. Chlorine reacts maybe with some, 1 or 2. Bromine 1 or 2. Iodine 1 or 2. Who reacts with everyone is fluoride. Hexafluoride example can you give? That is SF6. Sulfur hexafluoride is very common, which is having octahedral geometry. Octahedral geometry means in coordination compounds we have seen octahedral geometry and sp3d2 hybridization. One example for each halide you have to give. For hexahalide, SF6 you are giving. Coming to tetrahalide, for this hybridization is sp3d2 and shape is octahedral. Shall we move towards next halide now? What is the next halide? Tetrahalide. Tetrahydride means Se4, SeF4, Se, all the chloride, fluoride, bromide, iodide. Same goes for tetrahalide also. For tetrahalide also, who reacts very easily is fluorine, and that too tetrahalide will not be formed for oxygen. Who can form tetrahalides? The remaining, starting from sulfur to polonium, right? Tetrahalide is common for sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. Oxygen cannot form tetrahalide, and when I say halide, commonly is fluoride only, others don't react that much, okay? And for tetrahalide, what is the hybridization? Is sp3d. This is very important. For 2 marks this type of question comes. Draw the structure of SF6 along with its hybridization. So what you have to do? You have to mention that SF6 is an octahedral molecule, its hybridization is sp3d2 and its shape is this. Draw the shape. Same way, or they may ask you, draw the shape of SF4 molecule by mentioning its hybridization. SF4 molecule has which type of hybridization? sp3d. What will be the shape? Trigonal bipyramidal is the shape. This is trigonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the other? Is a lone pair of electron. This is the shape. If in the trigonal bipyramidal, if one of the equatorial position is lone pair, that means it is called as seesaw geometry. It should be trigonal bipyramidal, but because there is a lone pair, it is changing into seesaw geometry. Hybridization is sp3d. Tetrahalide we have taken. Coming to the next, which is dihalide. Dihalide, only sulfur and selenium can form, others cannot form because they are unstable. Okay, now we have finished with halides. What is the next chemical property? Is oxygen. Whenever 16th group element combines with oxygen, they form 2 type of oxide. One oxide is EO2 and the other oxide is EO3. Substitute E. E can be O2, SO2, SeO2, PeO2, PoO2. OO2 is nothing but what? Ozone, which is O3 only. O plus O2 together is O3, right? Same way, let us elaborate for EO3. EO3 trioxide is not possible for oxygen. Oxygen cannot show EO3 type. EO3 cannot be shown, because if I write EO3 for oxygen, the molecule should be O4, which have you ever seen? No. O4 is not possible. O4 means it becomes 2O2 only. So it will not form this type of oxide. Who form? The remaining elements can form. Let me write the remaining element. First is sulfur trioxide. Next is cellurium trioxide. Next is tellurium trioxide. These three only possible. Even with polonium also trioxide is not possible, right? In this type of oxides, whether you take dioxide or trioxide, ozone, what is the nature of ozone? It is a very good oxidizing agent, right? It oxidizes everyone, right? So we will look at its properties and preparations separately. But general nature of oxide is, whenever you are taking an oxide of non-metals, who is a non-metal oxide here? Is it a non-metal? No, it's not a non-metal. This is a non-metal. Non-metal shows acidic type of oxide, whereas metal shows basic type of oxide. This rule you have to follow. These are others. All of them are trioxide. Now we have finished the chemical properties of 16th group. What we will do now? Compounds of oxygen, compounds of sulfur, sulfur compounds we will see. What are the compounds of oxygen? For nitrogen, what was the compound? These were the compounds of nitrogen, right? Individually, one by one we have seen. Same way we will see compounds of oxygen also. What are the compounds? Oxides, dioxygen, ozone. We will study three compounds of oxygen. One is oxide, other is oxygen, dioxygen, other is ozone or trioxygen. Okay. Coming to the first compound of oxygen is dioxygen. What is the formula of dioxygen? O2. How can you prepare O2 gas? Is by heating any salt in which oxygen is present. What salts I have taken? Potassium chlorate, potassium perchlorate and potassium permanganate. In them oxygen is present or not? Whether 1, 2, 3 or 4, how many is not a concern. But oxygen containing salt, whenever they are heated, you will get dioxygen, right? So then a product with them is what? KCl and MnO2. KCl and MnO2, right? This for potassium permanganate 2 times. So potassium manganate is formed and MnO2 plus oxygen. Dioxygen is the product. So you are getting dioxygen or not? Yes. By heating any salt in which oxygen is present, you can get vapors of dioxygen and the remaining products. Right? What is the next method of preparation of dioxygen is? In the electrochemical series, if you remember the electrochemical series, the elements which are present at the bottom, who comes at the bottom? Silver, mercury, palladium, lead, all such type of metals come at the bottom below hydrogen, right? So those type of oxides, metal oxides of not any metal. Which metal? Metal oxides of the lower element of the electrochemical series. If they are heated, you will get what? Dioxygen plus Ag2O. Same way, dioxygen plus either mercury or mercuric oxide. You will get silver, solid silver as the product and solid mercury is deposited as the product. Okay. So these are the reactions for which metals. I cannot take copper oxide. So which metals I have to take? The metals which are present at the bottommost position of electrochemical series, these two, right? The next preparation is hydrogen peroxide. If you decompose hydrogen peroxide, you will get water and dioxygen. You will get water and dioxygen. How many waters you get? This, right? So whenever hydrogen peroxide is decomposed, you will get water and oxygen. What is the next preparation? Normal water. If you do electrolysis of normal water, you get hydrogen gas at cathode and oxygen gas at anode. These are the reactions for electrolysis of water. So first preparation is salts containing oxygen should be heated, you get dioxygen. A metal oxide of the last element of electrochemical series will give you dioxygen. Hydrogen peroxide after decomposition gives dioxygen. Electrolysis of water gives you dioxygen. These are the preparations of dioxygen. Now what we will see? We will look at the properties of dioxygen. Now let us look at the properties of dioxygen. Where is dioxygen used for reaction? Dioxygen can be used for the reaction with metals, reaction with non-metals and reaction with some other compounds which are neither metals nor non-metals. Okay. Now let us look at metals. Means which metal shall I take? I will take calcium, dioxygen. What will you get? Calcium oxide. Or I will take aluminium, dioxygen. I will get aluminium oxide. How to balance? Al2O3 is the oxide which has to be made for aluminium. Calcium reacts with oxygen to give calcium oxide. Aluminium reacts with oxygen to give aluminium oxide. Right. These are metals. Shall I take non-metals now? Non-metal means carbon. Is carbon a metal or a non-metal? Non-metal. Oxygen. What do you get? Carbon dioxide. Let me take methane plus oxygen. Methane also reacts with dioxygen or not? What will you get? Carbon dioxide plus water. Right? How many oxygen? 2 plus 2, 4. So 2, 4, 2. These are non-metals which react with oxygen gas. They form these particular products. Others. Who comes under others? Zinc sulfide. It is an ore. It is not a metal. It is an ore in which metal is present. So will it react with oxygen? Yes. What happens? That zinc oxide you will get. Next is SO3. Right? This is a gas which reacts with oxygen but in the presence of catalyst V2O5 to give you what? SO2, not SO3. During preparation of sulfuric acid we will come across this method. SO2 is oxidized to SO3 by dioxygen and catalyst is this. Right? So the properties of oxygen gas I have segregated into 3 types. One is with metals, another is with non-metals and another is others. Right? So these are the different categories in which dioxygen reacts to give its oxide. Here, whether here or here, but you will get oxide only in the end. Right? These are the properties of dioxygen. First this compound is over now. What is the next compound? We will look at the compounds called as oxides. As I already told you, oxygen combines with all the elements, almost all the elements of the periodic table except a few. What are those few? Platinum, silver. Silver also it reacts, but platinum don't react. Platinum, gold. Platinum, gold and silver will not easily react with oxygen, except these all the elements of the periodic table reacts with oxygen. So whenever it reacts, what will you get? Oxide you will get. So we will study about oxides. For oxide of any compound, its oxidation state will be -2 for oxygen. Right? -2 for oxygen. How many types of oxides we can have? We can have two types. Oxides can be of 4 different types. One type of oxide is acidic oxide. Another type of oxides are basic oxides. Another is amphoteric and another is neutral. Acidic oxide, what is the meaning of acidic oxide? Any oxide which can react with water to give an acid. If it reacts with water, you should get acid. If oxide is reacting with water to give you acid, that means that oxide was acidic in nature. Same way, if basic oxide reacts with water to give you base, that means the oxide was having basic nature. If oxide reacts with water to give you base, that means it was having basic nature. Amphoteric oxide means if it reacts with acid, it gives you base. It behaves like a base. And the oxide which behaves like a base when it is treated with acid, or it behaves like an acid when treated with base, are called as amphoteric. It have both acidic nature as well as basic nature. With acid it behaves like a base, with base it behaves like an acid. They are called as amphoteric acid. Neutral means they don't react with acid, they don't react with base. They don't react with acid or base. Now let us see the examples. General rule for acidic oxide is all the oxides of non-metals. You have seen just now SO2 is getting converted into SO3, right? That SO3 is nothing but acidic oxide, because SO3 plus water give you H2SO4. NO2 plus water gives you HNO3, right? Are they non-metals or not? All non-metals react with all non-metals. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, but there is exception. Exception is metal oxide. They are having metal or not, right? Even though they are metal oxide, but they behave like acidic oxide because the oxidation state here is very high. If the oxidation state is very high, even though they are metals, they behave like acidic oxide. Generally, who should behave like an acidic oxide? Only non-metals. But exception is these two. Why? Because they are having high oxidation state, right? Coming to the next category, basic oxide. What is the general rule of basic oxide? Is all metal oxides. Metal oxides come under the category of basic oxide. Examples: calcium oxide or zinc oxide or lithium oxide. All of them comes under the basic oxide. Why? Because when they react with water, they form calcium hydroxide base. Sodium oxide I will take, or potassium oxide I will take. Zinc oxide reacts with water to give you what? Zinc hydroxide, that is also a base. water to give you potassium hydroxide, that is also a base. Are they having metal? Yes. Metal? Yes. Metal oxides react with water to give a base. So general rule is metal oxides are basic in nature. Okay. Amphoteric means, which example comes under amphoteric is Al2O3. Why? Because this oxide behaves like acid with base and behaves like base with acid, right? Now the last category. What is the last category? Neutral. They don't act like acid, they don't act like a base. Which oxide come under that category? Carbon monoxide, nitrogen monoxide. They come under neutral oxide category. These are the oxides. In the next class we will look at ozone compound, its preparation and property, and then we will move on to the compounds of sulfur. Okay, thank you.